A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Well, it's time to bring back some Thursday night truck racing. How about it? It's the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Our first of 2 seasons in 2025, and our first race in season number 1, as always, is at the World Center of Racing here at Daytona International. Welcome in to Max V coverage here on Turn 200. My name is Tommy Cook, and we've got a new man in charge of the color commentary here this season. Welcome in his first official series debut. It's Joshua Motichek in booth 200. Partner, you're new to some Thursday night trucking here on the channel, but you've gotten to race with some of these guys over on Monday nights. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting to be the one judging their actions here tonight from high atop in the booth.
Oh, most definitely, Tommy. You know, running with these guys in other series is always a blast. There's a lot of very good drivers here tonight in this series. It's going to be a good one here.
Most certainly is. It was definitely... We had 2 great races here in the long season in 2024. Definitely the first of which, the more impactful of the 2, with a caution-free race that ended up. It should have been in the iRacing top 10. I don't know why it wasn't, but Heath Smith getting the victory, literally crossing through the Daytona logo. I'm sure even in your limited time here, truck racing here on iRacing, you've had some humdingers in terms of super speedway downs, but you've also had some super speedway ups over in the Venom Truck Series, taking a super speedway victory over there at Talladega. So you know how to get it done on this sort of thing. How does if you're looking to start the season off on the right foot, are you looking for the win? Are you looking to finish somewhere in between there? What's success in your eyes?
I think success in my eyes at a super speedway is just really being in that lead pack at the end and hoping to cross the finish line. If you have a wreck here with full damage, you're looking to be a couple laps down at the very least. So just being there at the end is really half the battle on super speedways.
Max V kind of back and forth here at Daytona. Of course, last season's season opener went caution-free here at Daytona. But the other two races here have had 3 cautions and 5 cautions, respectively, so that averages out to be about 3 a race. About 23 lead changes per race here with the Max V gang at Daytona as well. You see 18 drivers right now with a time on the board. I think we're at damn near 40 drivers here. I mean, this is a humongous field. I think about 10 drivers are going to be making their first career Max V start here tonight. It's all the stuff you look forward to in a season opener. I mean, a lot of these drivers are drivers that anybody that watched a Max V race last season will have heard their names before, but always a bit nerve-wracking when you have a huge influx of new people that you're not really familiar with to immediately have to go and be directly beside, in front, and behind them the entire length of the race. I'm sure there are some antsy drivers out there.
Yeah, I'm sure, Tommy. Starting off the season with a super speedway, it really can be, treacherous because you can do well and getting that win at a super speedway is definitely a good feeling, but it can also go wrong very quickly. And starting off with as big of a field as we have tonight, a 20th or 30th finishing position, it really puts a damper on your whole season as you move forward.
See the boss man, James Lehman, across the line. He will go 8th, and that will do it here for qualifying. Looks like about 23 drivers were able to put a lap time in, and that will get us squared away to get to tonight's starting lineup. And with the pole position, who else would it possibly be other than the super speedway ringer here on Thursday nights? Wally Terheimer will lead the field to the green flag. Charlie Widener, the big hero from last season, but not the champion regardless. He was your Truck 200 winner here at Daytona to open up the third and final season of competition on Monday nights. He starts in second. Pete Smith won here last season next to your first of 10 newcomers in the field tonight. Cody Gibson starting in fourth. It's Brad Slagle, Super Speedway winner from last season at Talladega, starting in fifth next to Jacob Gibson. Will Kirk, hello to Michelle in the chat. Will start in seventh next to the boss man, James Lehman. Jordan Neese and Dakota Floyd, 2 new names to Max V Thursday night, starting on row number 5. It's Riley Tilton, Christopher Howell on row 6. Mark Jackson is back, starting in 15th next to Matt Sisler. Ryan McRobertson, Connell Bolton will start in 16th in his debut tonight. John Pansolo's here next to Johnny Hamby, who we did not get to see much of in the playoffs. Hamby back in action tonight, starting in P18. It will be Chris Serchin and Mike Milfelt, winner at Atlanta last season, starting in 20th. Zachary Groover, Brandon Groover, how about that? They're on row number 11 together. It's Michael Van, Scott Patton deep in the field here. Starting at 24th, Justin Michael, Daytona winner here last time we were here in the summer, starting at 25th. Next year, reigning series champion, that's Greg the Mall. I believe that's Greg the Champ Mall is what that says. Billy Bumgardner and Rod Mitten, always a super speedway threat, starting back at 28th. His teammate Matt Rodolasso not too far behind at 29th. Trent Drum will roll off from 30th. 31st for Bill, the People's Champion Paradise. It is Kerry Cleaver, the Max V CNC Home Designs man himself in 32nd. Chris Boyles, Michael Whitlock, Kyle Kabash, and Bobby Sales, your 36 drivers in tonight's starting lineup. We'll give you a look at the track conditions here as soon as I can find the button. There it is. Sun is starting to go down here. It is nearly a perfect night in Central Florida. 80 degrees is the air temperature. 81 degrees is the track temperature. Joshua Motichek, for the very first time, let's get some race notes from you and what these drivers are going to have to expect here tonight in the season opener.
Yeah, so tonight we're looking at 3 extra sets of tires in the pits. There are no fast repairs, so if you get damaged, you will have to wait for it to be fixed. No incident limits tonight. We are looking at 70% fuel, so that should put the pit window between lap 20 and 25. This is a 80-lap race for the full distance, and there will be a stage break at the end of lap 20 for stage points.
Nervous drivers, always some nervous announcers as well. Of course, this is I guess technically your second time because you were here with us on Monday night for Truck 200 racing. But I don't know, I always get nervous for the drivers just knowing what they're up against here tonight, a lot of them. And your season can really start or stop right here.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like I said earlier, points matter from the very beginning here. Starting off the super speedway race, and as Ryan Dye proved in the Venom Truck Series, you can bring yourself out of a winless slump at your first super speedway race of the season. So it really can make a difference and make or break your season.
Wally Turheimer, winner in 2023 at Talladega, proved to be one of the more popular victories we've ever had here on the channel. He's going to lead the field to green next to Charlie Widener. 2025 Season 1 of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series is underway.
Inside line getting a little checked up off the start. That'll give James Lehman a chance to come down to the bottom.
Already allegiances being formed, drivers getting into their proper lanes, or the lanes rather that they want to be in. Still Turheimer leading the bunch here on the bottom. His outside pole sitter is the one still in charge of this top line here, in charge of Charlie Widener. With help from Cody Gibson there in the 3, but across the stripe, first lap of the 2025 season number 1 goes to the 75 of Wally Turheimer. Hello to Sarah cheering on Riley Tilton, and Bailey Marie cheering on tonight.
She'd never miss a race.
Hasn't yet.
Got one down on the apron dropping out. It's the 88 of Christopher Howell. He's going to pull back up on the track, no problem.
Howell went on a bit of a tear at the end of last season, won 2 of the last 3 races of the season, including your Championship 4 race at Phoenix. Did quite well in the Truck 200 race here at Daytona as well. So we'll see if he is going to carry any momentum into the Max V season opener here tonight. I'm sure anybody that has watched some racing on Turn 200 between the drop of the checkers at Phoenix to now has noticed the new graphics package, but this is the first time we'll be having it on a Thursday night. So it looks a little bit different than it did at the end of last season. But I mean, really, go ahead.
We're looking at about the top 20 is nice and bunched up here, but behind that, it seems to be pretty spread out.
Yeah, some drivers kind of driving out, or dropping out rather, and a couple of the heavy hitters that you expect to be in the running late in these super speedway races not making their way forward. Justin Michael, Greg Mall, they have both won here at Daytona on a Thursday night before. Both of the Prestige Worldwide drivers, Rado Lasso and Mitten, are back there. Scott Patton is back there, always a perennial favorite to win these super speedway races. Their teammate James Lehman is up in the thick of it here in P8, right where he started. Knowing that you're chasing lap 20 rather than your first pit stop, do you like this call to hang back?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm into it. I mean, really, lap 20 comes pretty quickly, especially when it sits before that first pit window. So that really doesn't give time to really shake things up and get trucks moved forward or backwards. So I think that the track position here in the opening laps of this race are going to be really important when it comes to those first 10 spots for stage points.
Well, if they're laying back for a little feeling out process right now, everything looks pretty calm, and everybody should start to knock on wood right after I've said that. But nobody's made any crazy moves. Everybody looks pretty well in control of their trucks. That's not always a guarantee here at Daytona, as we had one drop from the top down to the bottom and slot in line, and about a truck length's gap there. I believe that was the 12 of Jordan Neese. But it's still Turheimer and Widener up at the front of the field. Heath Smith, the other Daytona winner, in the mix. Won last season's season opener. While his other two fellow winners are towards the back of this pack, he is the one that is getting it done here for Wally Turheimer. Biggest mover so far, I'm showing Brandon Groover up 6 to 7 positions. He's side by side with Mike Milfelt there for 15th. So Brandon is moving forward. Zachary Groover, his brother slash teammate slash row mate, has dropped back 6 positions.
I'm curious to see how many drivers tonight, with it being the opening race, are not going to be as focused on those stage points at lap 20 as far as setting up for the end of the race.
Heath Smith there got checked up behind Wally Turheimer and jumped out of line up to the top side in front of his teammate Charlie Widener, and he will leapfrog the 75 and put himself on point. That was a bit of a sudden move, but it ends up being a good one for driver number 1, as he will lead lap number 8 and put lap number 9 up on the board. Well, to anybody that's hanging out with us here for the first time, drop us a chat. Let us know who you're rooting for. Go ahead.
I'm sure that's exactly what Highline Racing wants to see out of the start of this race is to be led entirely, both lines, by their team.
Absolutely. They've got the 2 drivers at the front of the line. They've also got Mike Milfelt back there in 16th. And somewhere in this field is Johnny Hamby. He's actually not too far away from Mike Milfelt either.
That being said, Charlie Widener's going to back that front row up, and Brad Slagle's going to be able to take the pole on that row.
Slagle, winner at Talladega, the most recent Super Speedway winner here in Max V, to take his first career CNC Home Designs Truck Series victory. And with a head-on shot here, you can see how much these trucks are dancing around. I don't know, they look fairly stable. Is that just because everybody's not pushing very hard yet?
It could be. It looks like the lap times are still half a second to a second off from the fastest. Could be just a fuel save opportunity here, or it could just be that they aren't staying in line very well.
And that's another thing as well. We are tight to the fuel window here. With the stage break coming to lap 20, that's about when these drivers were going to start to look to come to pit lane. So if you're somebody that's been at the front of this field, like Turheimer or Widener, Slagle, Smith, fuel might be at the back of your mind here towards the end of this stage to make sure you've just got enough to make it around under caution to get back to pit road. Turheimer there dancing around behind Heath Smith. Hello to Big W Racing, cheering on Chris Sargent. Chris right now about holding serve where he started, just outside of the top 20. Long way to go, though. Lap number 11 of 80 up on the board. Hello to Robin as well. Cheering on, I don't know. I feel like we've got more people cheering on our color commentator here tonight than we've got cheering on the drivers on the track, but that's all right.
Mike Milfelt going to make a move to put it 3 wide.
Oh, boy, that's always risky. 3 wide up
Makes
the
it
middle.
happen with no issues.
And that's Brandon Gruber. He's going to get hung up top here still, as that's Justin Michael now starting to make his way forward. He is now the hard charger of this race, up 10 spots from where he started. So the switch is flipped here for Justin Michael. Thought about maybe going to the middle again, but we'll tuck in line behind the 155 there of Milfelt.
Milfelt going upside the middle again. Justin Michael going to follow him.
Not content to ride, and that is him shuffle it out. Johnny Hamby, his teammate. Very interesting. Hamby qualified for the playoffs last season, only made 1 race before he kind of just disappeared. So happy to see him back tonight. Still looking for that first win. Came so close so many times.
And I do like that Gibson guitar paint he's got. Very classy.
Let's go kick pot cam here with Johnny Hamby. You see what he is seeing in front of him. That's Riley Tilton there to his left, searching around. You can hear him feathering the throttle there as well. Maybe not as much fuel save as just him trying to give some distance here to Justin Michael. And increases visibility to what's happening in front of him as well. Nobody making too crazy moves, but you need to be ready to go, especially if you're stuck up on this top side. It's good for trying to move forward to be in the middle and be on the top, but it's not good for avoiding the accidents.
Yeah, being on top, it's almost like you have a wall inside of you too, because bottom really stacks up in a lot of incidents, and it puts you in a difficult position, especially when you're 3 wide. Just no place to go.
Talked about the top 20 being pretty racy, and you'll notice behind them they are all single file pretty much. Further back here in the pack.
And I wonder if, leading back to a point I made earlier, if that might just be a fuel save thing, as you know, with 70% fuel, you can't go quite as far. So I feel like fuel saving in Max V might be a little bit bigger than it is in some other series we see.
Yeah, most of the other truck series on the channel, in fact, all of the other truck series on the channel here on Turn 200, all use 100% fuel capacity. So you definitely gotta. It opens the door a lot more for strategy once we get off of the super speedways, and to a degree it does here as well. But it plays more of a factor once we get to your, I guess, regular tracks. Is that an offensive term to super speedway racing? No, this isn't ordinary, but it is awesome, that's for sure. Stage points on the line. Drivers going to start to get themselves positioned maybe for one dash to the green and white checkered flag.
Mike Milfelt making some moves now. Goes to the outside. Justin Michael going to follow him. Milfelt now to the middle.
That's Jacob Gibson to his outside. Maybe unwittingly going to start a third line here with Justin Michael, and then again, maybe not.
They are racing close here.
Yes, they are. That is Cody Gibson in front of Jacob Gibson. Oh, and some contact there nearly. And now all of a sudden it opens up. Widener going to go up to the top side, move Slagle down to the middle. Smith still in control on the bottom here. But teammates Milfelt and Widener getting hooked up and nearly getting hooked together there. So 155 starts to lay the smack down to the tailgate. 2 laps to go here in the stage. Oh, big checkups here on the bottom. 57 Dakota Floyd getting a little bottled up. As now it's Brad Slagle from the middle, jumping ahead and pulling down to the bottom in front of Heath Smith. It opens the door for who else but Justin Michael, up 24 spots from where he started this race. It's the 87 nosing it down the back straightaway. Not quite clear to move down, though. Jordan Neese giving him the push. Top side is breaking up big time. One more time around here in the stage.
Milfeld's going to get hung out to dry on top by his teammate.
Whoa! Oh! That was almost a disaster there as he tried to pull in behind Matt Sisler, nearly right hook Sisler into the wall. Slaughter truck in front of them, I'm not too sure, is Scott Patton, who has had some kind of issue but is back out onto the track now, multiple laps down. Slagle and Michael. Justin Michael losing his help from Neese from behind. Slagle is free to roam up to the top side if he so chooses. Michael pushing back into the mix here. He'll have the momentum headed to the stripe, and the stage win is going to go to Brad Slagle. As we had a couple drivers, I think, start to get a little loosey-goosey behind him. I heard one driver down in the grass. It might have been Michael Whitlock. But that is how they will bring the stage to a close here. Justin Michael falling short to Brad Slagle. Slagle right back on top at the Superspeedway. Great stuff.
If that's going to be any indication of how the rest of this race is going to go, I think we're in for a treat.
I think you're right. Let's see if we can take a look here. Showing Brandon Groover had an issue. You see they are getting stacked up in the back. That is James Lehman getting tagged as that inside line checked up very hard. Lehman, and that is crucial there, missing that green cone, so he avoids a penalty. If he would have even hit that green cone there, that would have been treated as an improper pit exit. And in Max Fee Thursday nights, they have not cleared a single black flag for any reason. So they are very consistent, and that is the league owner that would have gotten that one, and he has before. So no shenanigans or reversals of any kind. But luckily, we don't have to deal with it. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet, anyway.
So everybody is going to be coming down now because they are all just about out of fuel. Not going to be anybody trying any funny business here. There's your stage winner, Brad Slagle. He's going to take right side tires here at least, if not jacking these left sides up as well. All 4 for the 052. Looks like Justin Michael took 4 as well. Jordan Neese and Heath Smith will not take 4 tires. And they will get themselves out ahead and on the top of the heap here. Good work there by Nice to get Michael back into the fight there, but it was just too little too late. How easy is it to regain the momentum as the pusher after you've kind of lost it or the car in front makes a mistake?
It really depends on how much you lose. These trucks, they can pick up a draft from almost a second back, but the ideal window is to be about a truck length off to pull in the fastest. And it looks like he dropped just outside of that window. And that might have been the difference for Michael there at the end.
So I am showing Scott Patton 1 lap down. Not sure if he's the first driver a lap down or not. There are a couple other drivers that are around him somewhere, but Patton down in 35th after some kind of an issue. He had to tow back to the pits. The truck looks okay, so not exactly sure what it was. But Patton will have his work cut out for him. Of course, we were guaranteed a caution here tonight because of the stage. But it could very well. Previous history suggests that it's not improbable that it will go caution-free from here. But it is also a truck race at Daytona. So, who's to say? I don't know. That first stage, though, it had a couple of close-ish calls, but nothing too alarming. How did you feel about that first 20?
It felt pretty stable, in all honesty. I've seen some pretty sketchy instances just in my short time speedway racing, and that was a more tame stint than most. But I have no doubt that it's not going to stay tame once we get into that last 10-lap window.
Well, I'll call my shot right here. If it does happen to go caution-free from here on out, lap 80 will have the mother of all messes like it did last season. There's not a doubt in my mind there. So you'll definitely see some carnage at some point. It's just a question of how long do they wait to do it. So we'll go. Go ahead.
I think it's definitely a high probability of seeing that at the end. We saw the exact same thing in the Venom Truck Series. Went caution free to the end, and then there was some carnage there at the last lap.
Shout out to Jefferson86 cheering on Justin Michael, and shout out to Matt Burkhardt as well, a playoff driver from last season. Take a look at the back of this shot here and see how many drivers are single file on the bottom of the track. Those are all the drivers that have come back in under this caution to give themselves an extra lap of fuel. And that could very well be the difference maker in tonight's race if we do have long green flag runs to the end of this one. But for now, the field is under the control of Heath Smith and Jordan Nice. It's Wally Terheimer, Dakota Floyd on row 2, Connell Bolton, and Jacob Gibson on row number 3. Nice, not a great start, trying to get backed up to Floyd behind him. That is Connell Bolton there in the 32 on his inside. And there is Scott Patton, you see, pulling off down the backstretch on the apron, letting the lead lap trucks go by. Smith looking to lead the field back to the stripe. Nice made it close, but it's the one of Smith who will lead the first lap here under the green. Motorsports guys further back in the field, James Lehman, Justin Michael. Again, just kind of maxing and relaxing in the middle of this field. Still a little bit strung out back here.
almost had one up
Whoa!
front.
And almost had one right in front of Justin Michael there as well. I think that was Kyle Kabash, who nearly got turned around by Chris Voiles. Maybe in reaction to what we saw at the front of the field as well. As Nice now the leader. Smith in second. Turheimer with no help, but he'll go to the outside regardless. Bolton and Floyd behind. Gibson, Hamby, first appearance of the People's Chain. Bill Paradise in the 556 up in the top 10. Kerry Cleaver, the other boss man in the equation of Max V, starting, or rather running in 10th.
Looks like Michael Milfeld might have had an issue. We're showing him a lap down by himself on the backstretch.
Definitely something has gone terribly wrong here for the 155. It was always a threat to win on these super speedways. So he is one driver that is hoping for a caution, similar to Scott Patton, so they could try and find their way back onto the lead lap. And honestly, the intensity and the handling, the intensity's picked up and the handling has gone away since this restart. I'm not sure I'm so confident in a no caution prediction like I was just a little bit ago.
Anything is definitely possible when we get on the super speedway.
Yes.
And it happens so quickly.
It really does.
Looks like the field is starting to get bunched back up a little bit. Got pretty strung out on that restart there.
Lots of throttle feather in here for the 50 of James Lehman as we go kickpot cam. This is Lehman back in 15th.
Seems like we've tamed back down a little bit after that restart.
Maybe just a smidge. Turheimer was gunning for the lead here on the top side, but Smith pushes Nice back ahead. And now Smith will get up in front of Wally. Heath Smith came to play. He's the one making moves and making things happen here at the front of this field.
That being said, I'm not sure being out front of the line is the choice here with the way that fuel looks. Because being out front, you really don't have much of a choice but to be hammered down. Whereas the further back you go, you really get more draft and can feather and save throughout the run.
I think looking at this field, they are tending to agree with you because not a whole lot of people are volunteering themselves to be up on this top side. Greg Mull is kind of leading a charge of some drivers in, but it took quite a few laps to really get this top side going and get it moving places. I'm sure Bolton and Turheimer both agree with you as well. They're very happy to have somebody in front of them right now, and they can ease off that throttle pedal just a little bit as we nearly had a zig into a zag there with Johnny Hamby and Dakota Floyd, both third in line.
Yeah, you got to be careful as the third car in line, because when the truck in front of you is locked onto the bumper in front of him, it can really cause issues when you get right on and start pushing. It lifts that middle truck up and gets them really free. and sometimes it can end very badly.
Ooh, how about this move from Connell Bolton? Bolton up top. He is clear to drop back down if he so chooses.
And he will.
How about that? Bolton in the Tony Stewart's Home Depot truck. Let's hope that he is summer Tony Stewart and not Daytona 500 Tony Stewart. As Turheimer down into the door there. I believe that was Pansilla that he tagged. That was nearly a disaster. As now Hamby will move up, and so will Nice. Nice now back down after the block from Bolton. We are getting after it.
A little bit of slicing and dicing here up front.
Just a bit. Pansilla almost up into the 57 of Floyd there as well. It's now Pansilla third in line on the bottom. Whoa. Chris Sargent awfully close there to Michael Whitlock. As Turheimer will jump down to the bottom right quick. Gets the heart rate elevated just a bit there on lap 33. Some crazy moves being made. Well, there you go. Shout out to Mark. Got the whole family here.
I think Turn 200 needs to implement heart rate monitors on some of these drivers.
I think so. We could send out a couple of whip bands, but I think I need one too. I'm getting pretty nervous here. You know what really gets the heart rate going?
What's that?
Well, for our buddy Matt Williamson, we could turn him loose on the crank can. What do you say?
I say let's do it.
I say let's give her a lap and a half and crank it up. Lap 37 of this field is coming up on the 155 of Mike Milfelt. That's always an interesting challenge when you're doing that for the first time, trying to figure out a way to ingest. A great super speedway racer, but compared to the rest of the field right now, he is going very, very slow. And he does the wise thing and makes himself not a part of the equation. We'll take him down to the apron as his teammate at the front of the field just jumped up to the top line and now leads the race. It's Heath Smith back up front. Smith will take Connell Bolton with him from the top down to the bottom.
That was a huge run that they had.
Whoa, that was almost bad. And Bolton is pushing hard, and Smith might argue maybe a bit too hard as we're pushing the pusher now. Up to the top side goes Nice. Nice with help from Johnny Hamby. and Dakota Floyd behind him. Pansilla third in line on the bottom. There's Bill Paradise and Jacob Gibson fourth in line in their respective orders. We went back green on lap 24. And 24 is about the max length of the fuel window here. So what are these drivers thinking about? Because they're going to have to start thinking pretty quick here on what their moves they're going to make to pit road.
Most definitely. I think that we might see a couple drivers try a little bit of an undercut, but with the way that the fuel window is, it really doesn't give much opportunity to get some clean air here. A lot of drivers are probably going to end up all pitting together and staying in one pack here.
Some names that we have not mentioned really in this run since the drop of the green on lap 24. We have not mentioned the Band of Motorsports drivers. Of course, they're down a couple. With I don't think Rob Haynes is even here tonight, unless I'm mistaken. And Scott Patton is a lap down right now. So it's just Justin Michael and James Lehman, and they are just kind of hanging in the back. Normally, they would try to pull some kind of an undercut, like you mentioned. But with a 70% fuel capacity, that may not be the move. We'll have to see. It'll be starting to come up here pretty quick, though.
I definitely think that the move here would be to try and pit early as you can. As these trucks start to shuffle into a single file line, it really slows the field down entirely. And if you make an early pit, you can almost gain a second or two on the field with just a couple trucks.
There's Dakota Floyd threading his way down to the bottom of the track. And this top line's starting to break up. Like you mentioned, they're all starting to get single file. And here comes a big wave to pit road. That's Terheimer leading. That's Maul, Voiles, Lehman, who is loose. 7 is off into the grass as well. Or that's not the 7, rather. That was somebody else. But, a couple of drivers around, and that was Justin Michael that was involved in that one as well. So many drivers down pit road here. We'll take a better look at what just happened here in a second. But this is 20th to 34th, all on pit road at the same time. So now we'll see who is going to answer here on lap 41. Bolton leading. And out of the front pack here, no takers this time. Let's try to take a look here really quick at what happened. This is Justin Michael on the chase cam. And boy, he is sailing. Very aggressive pit entry for him. 2 drivers loose in front of him. One of them is Kerry Cleaver, and he has absolutely nowhere to go. Matt Rodolasso piles in. Yikes. That was a very good pit entry gone wrong. I think that was Kyle Kabash was the other driver that was involved in that as well. Kabash will go a lap down. I'm sure with a penalty to serve. Same for Kerry Cleaver, who is getting back out on track right now. So it's looks to be the top 19 drivers have yet to make their pit stop here. They'll have to make another one, I do believe. But this is Bolton, Neese, Hamby, Smith, Pansilla, Floyd, Gibson, Paradise. The front runners here as some are coming in. Hamby, Heath Smith, Jacob Gibson, that's Matt Sisler. And the 57 of Dakota Floyd as well are all down pit road. More manageable to get 5 or 6 on pit road than it is to get 14, which is how many we had in that first group.
Yeah, 14 is a lot to come in at one time. You're trying to get, woed up from high speed all at one time, and all it takes is just that one truck to get a little sideways, a little out of shape.
Here come a few more, including your race leader. That's Bolton. Oh, and Bolton locks him up.
No.
Nice going to have to go around. Pansola has to slow way down. That's not going to bode well for him. And that's Michael Van off in the grass in the 89. And that's going to be an improper pit entry for him. But Bolton, unfortunately, that is going to cost him big. And he was looking great up at the front of this field. So he's going to have to dig hard and hope for a caution to get himself back into this one. Michael Whitlock is now the leader, but he does not have much help around him as Mark Jackson and Brandon Groover are having to push hard to try and catch up to Whitlock. There's Brad Schlegel and Ryan McRoberts, who were the winning duo at Talladega last season. And they may be in a bit of a hole here, even if they execute well on their pit stop, whenever that may be. I think Mark Jackson's going to pit by himself. Actually, here comes Trent Drum to bail him out. We've seen tandems work to stay up in the lead pack in the past, but it's definitely not what you're looking for. As Whitlock will surrender the lead to Brandon Groover. Of the drivers that have pit, it is James Lehman who is the leader. He's about to take over the 8th position. And if you look at the pack that's with James Lehman, it is not very big. That's Lehman, Hamby, Smith, Jacob Gibson, Matt Sisler, and Dakota Floyd. And that is it. As here come the lead pack, and there goes the 23 around.
There's the caution.
Ryan McRoberts, and that will trigger the caution. Not sure if it was for that. I don't see. Oh, may have had a problem with Billy Bumgardner. I didn't see him on my rundown, though. Where is he at? Okay, well, we are under the caution here regardless. Let's go and take a look at what the sim was giving me. He was one of the drivers that was coming down pit road here in this group. Oh, and Michael Whitlock pounded into the 5 of Bumgardner. And Bumgardner came to a complete stop on the track. So that is what is going to bring out our second caution of the race right there. As Michael Whitlock was trying to get woed up for pit lane.
Just the wrong place, wrong time for Bumgardner, unfortunately.
Absolutely. We'll go cockpit here with Bumgardner. And you'll notice, I mean, almost everybody, not everybody, there were a couple, but almost all the drivers that had issues slowing down for pit road were drivers that are new to the series. Save for Kerry Cleaver in the 69. But Kyle Kabash in front of him is new. Whitlock is new. A lot of our front runners, Connell Bolton was new. So very interesting. And for Bumgardner, he gets to stay out here. But he will have to come down to get some damage fixed. Interesting to see, with all the penalties and such, who's actually going to get the lucky dog here. As pretty much everybody's going to be down pit road. Save for Brandon Groover, Ryan McRoberts, Mark Jackson. Looks like Rod Mitten, Jordan Neese, Brad Schlegel have all stayed out. I'm not sure if Justin Michael is just very, very behind or if he is getting his lap back right now. He may be the lucky dog down at 26th. So that may save your winningest driver in the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. 11 victories to the credit of the 87, but is yet to come away with the season-ending hardware. He's got 2 opportunities to do it in 2025, and I will definitely say he is the favorite for both of them. He's also in the hunt and tied for the top seed in the Truck 200 Championship starting again this Monday night from Indianapolis. You've gotten to race Justin a little bit. And what do you make of this 87 at the front of the field?
I think he's definitely in a good position. He's a great driver. Has always run me clean. But I've not raced with any of these guys on Super Speedway, so really not sure on who's who when it comes to being there at the end and the strategy calls here.
Justin Michael was the perennial Cinderella whenever we came to the Super Speedways. I'm not too sure. He didn't finish second in all but one Super Speedway race until he finally won at Daytona last summer. So, I mean, he is always there if he doesn't get wrecked out, which is seemingly every time that he's always there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the key here at Super Speedways.
Just to not be caught in somebody else's mess.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done, though.
I can attest to that firsthand.
Well, we'll have 31 laps to go when we come back green here. We're not done with pit stops. We'll still have to make another one under green if indeed we make it that far.
Yeah, I think if we go green the rest of the way, you might see some trucks come down at the very beginning of that pit cycle. Should be around lap 60, just to get out in clean air. And, you know, we saw like Lehman and his crew did, and make some time up just as a couple car group. If you stay tight, you can make up more ground than you would expect.
So Brandon Groover, Ryan McRoberts, Mark Jackson, Ron Mitten, Brad Slagle, Trent Drum, Jordan East, Heath Smith, James Lehman, Matt Sisler. These will be the drivers in the top 10 working our second caution here tonight. 31 laps to go when we come back to the stripe. Oof. Your reigning series champ, Greg Mall, may be done for the night. That is incredibly... Yeah, that sucks. I was trying to think of a nicer way to phrase it, but I don't think there is one. That just
Simply
sucks.
put.
And we're not done with the Super Speedway vibe because we're in Atlanta next week, and that's new Atlanta. So we'll hope to see Greg back in action and back in the mix next week. Back at our way here. Lap 50. Mitten there on the inside did not get a good start. He tries to bully his way down onto the bottom, and Nice will let him in as Brad Slagle now is hung out there. But Mitten and now Mark Jackson will make the move back to the outside. Oh,
Lehman's going to move to the outside as well.
Oof.
And
Slagle,
Slagle's going to get pushed to the middle.
Slagle stuck in the middle. Nice nearly got up into that quarter panel there. As Slagle now going to get out of danger and get down onto the bottom. Nice going to go up to the top side.
Thinks better of it.
This 12 truck is making moves.
He wants to be there, that's for sure.
He was asking in the Discord earlier who the series champions are. I think he's got his eyes set on the title. He was looking for who to gun for. Andrew Schulte not in action tonight, and Greg Mall apparently out of the race already. So the floor is yours, whoever wins this race. It could very well be the 12 truck.
He's been looking good tonight, there's no doubt about that.
I would imagine Brandon Groover's feeling pretty good at the front of this field right now.
This outside line has really been struggling on the restarts. I mean, they're 5 or 6 trucks back and not really organized to do anything.
That's Mark Jackson at the front of it right now. Gibson with a pump fake to try and get up there. They are definitely not formed up behind this 17 truck whatsoever. Jackson back in 9th. As whoa, that is the 23 Ryan McRoberts down onto the flat, and he is going to keep it from coming back up onto the track. That was incredible. That could have been a huge problem, and they're still trying to get it figured out up front 3 wide.
That's going to shuffle Nice back. Oh, no!
Oh, and that is Nice now down into the pack. Oh, we got one up on its side. That's Sisler involved. Multiple drivers are going to pile in here. Some big shots here from some heavy hitters. Mike Milfelt, Scott Patton with damage, and that is caution number 3.
Billy Bumgardner in that one as well.
Oh, poor Billy. He has been put through the ringer tonight.
Cannot catch a break.
Sisler nearly had one on top of him there. Whoever that was in front of him went for a ride. Where, oh, where is this one going to start? I have a feeling it started about a lap ago with whatever happened with Ryan McRoberts. And I believe the 12 of Nice. We're here with Sisler. You already see it happening in front of him, so we got to back it up and move to the front. That may have been Billy Bumgardner. Who I keep... Nope, it's not him. There's Nice. Okay. Let's just take this all the way back. So 3-truck breakaway up front here. This is the 12 of Nice. Oh, and Ryan McRoberts blew up. You could hear the engine blow up on that 23 truck. I'm sure that punched a huge hole in the front of the 12, who had nowhere to go. He is getting dropped backwards in the middle of this pack with damage on the front end. Oh, and Jacob Gibson just moves up the track just a little bit. That was Heath Smith that got up on his side. That was... Boy, none of that was really on that 12 truck at all. That was just a lot of things stacking up against.
I can't help but wonder if maybe Nice had some aero damage and that truck wasn't handling the way that it should have through the tri-oval.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I mean, he took a huge shot there from Ryan McRoberts, who just blew up out of nowhere. I mean, pushing the L52 pretty hard, but... Let's go kickpot cam with your defending race winner. Doesn't look like he's going to go back-to-back here at Daytona. As he gets turned... Up onto the side he goes. Tell you what, though. Wait for a big shot here, maybe? I think he's going to be just fine. Luckily, the doors and the roof of these trucks really don't take all that much damage, and he really didn't get any big shots from any direction. He may be okay. Now, a few other drivers, probably not. I want to go back and see. Oh, and I've gone too far back. Just hammering the scroll wheel, trying to sort through all the events. They log every single pass on this software. Which at a normal track isn't that bad, but, you know, there's 15 passes for position a lap. Okay, so we're going to go to Ryan McRoberts here, but we're going to back up. We're going to ride on board with Jordan Nice. Just show you how sudden that was. And see if we could listen for the RPMs here as well. Oh, that was on board with Ryan McRoberts there. And that thing, his gauges weren't even red. So I'm not sure what happened there. but you could just see how sudden that was. That would also explain why he didn't bring it back up onto the track, because he was slowing down massively. Well, that will alleviate the fuel situation a little bit, as you see almost every driver coming down pit road here under this caution. This is going to put them pretty close with 25 laps to go. It's on the outer edges of the fuel window. How comfortable are you feeling to make it to regulation, let alone maybe perchance a little bit more?
I'm not really sure. It's a tough call. It really depends on everybody else. You know, when the field goes into fuel save mode, I mean, you can get a couple seconds off pace and everyone can save, but if the field doesn't really check up and there's just a couple drivers that are running out with it, it can really cause issues if you're sitting right on the fuel window. Being that we're looking at green with about 24, 23 laps, I would say that it's a pretty good bet that we could go from here if there are no other incidents.
See, one of those drivers that came in and topped off is the 87 of Justin Michael, looking to restart in about 17th. But here's the look at the front of the field with 24 laps to go. When we get back to the stripe, it'll be Brandon Groover and Brad Slagle on the front row. Row number 2 is James Lehman and John Pansola. Row 3, Jacob Gibson and Jordan Neese. Looking at Jordan Neese's truck. Hard to tell, it's kind of in the shadows. Maybe not. Billy Bumgardner, though, has been through it tonight. He'll restart at 9th next to Mark Jackson. Those are the top 10 starters here. As if this one wasn't getting wild enough, buckle in and settle down. 24 laps to go. Big jump for the 41 of Groover. That will allow his teammate at Rusty Wrench Motorsports, Brad Slagle, to tuck in behind. James Lehman up here in third. Pansola getting hung out on the top side.
Really strung out on this restart.
One driver. Go ahead.
Lehman going to lead that outside line, followed by Gibson, and Neese is going to follow behind them as well.
One driver that was really happy to see that second caution was Connell Bolton. He is back up into the mix here. He was making great moves before the green flag pit cycle. Got turned around on his way into pit road, as that was looked like Chris Sargent coming out of the pits down on the flat. Right now it's the top 11 attached to this lead pack, as well as the 33 of Michael Whitlock, who I believe is multiple laps in. Bill Paradise in 11th right now is the cutoff. He's got 2 seconds back to Johnny Hamby. It looks like that gap is starting to close, though, and that will be good news for everybody behind, because like you said, they got very strung out there on that restart. A little more airtight on the stop side. A little bit of space here on the bottom to still try and work through. And now Lehman is nosing ahead up top.
Neese is pushing hard.
Lehman clear. He is down. And now it'll take a second for Gibson and Neese to get their bearings and make a similar push. That was Gibson down into the door. Oh, the 57 of Dakota Floyd. The two drivers that
Oh, he's
man!
again. He's going to get shuffled back now.
Floyd going to save it, boy. Gibson having a tough go here. Save the two drivers that got together to start that last accident, nearly started another one, and then it nearly happened again with Dakota Floyd this time.
That's some wheeling to save that one.
Yes, definitely. And now that puts Nice in control of the top line with Mark Jackson. Mike Milfelt, who is still a lap down. As, wow, that was Bolton muscling his way into line in a truck-length gap. Back to Pensula. And now Nice will drop down low in front of James Lehman. Lehman rocking the ruby red on that truck for the first time. Looks awfully good and looks even better at the front of the field. And now he'll have some work to do as Mark Jackson gets a nose out ahead on the top side with help from the lapper, but one of the super speedway aces, the 155. Make it 19 to go at the stripe.
If you're Milfeld here, what are you thinking as your lap's down, but within the front of the field?
Got to be frustrated, right?
I'm sure. It would be for me. I know that.
The same thing with the Rocket Man Memorial 85 a couple of weeks ago in the Venom Truck Series. I believe that went caution-free. And there were lap trucks all over that lead pack. They dictated the finish of that race. And that had to be incredibly frustrating for the lap trucks that were leading that inside line. Had the pace to win the race, but couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah, I know that lead pack was 20-plus cars, and only 10 of them were on the lead lap.
Oh, boy.
Milfeld checking up.
Whoa, Milfeld way out. And there we go. They are scattering everywhere. Multiple drivers around. That was Justin Michael, one of them. Mike Milfelt with damage. Caution number 4 is out. Ay, ay, ay. Let's take a look here.
I think Milfelt might have blown up as well.
That is so strange. These trucks have been more temperature sensitive, but I mean, I'm not even showing red gauges. That's wild. Oh yeah, you hear the motor right there. And the 155 is trying to get out of the pack. But all that juking and jiving in front leads to this mess behind. Huge checkups there. And that's Whitlock into the wall. Oh, Rod Mitten around. That's Justin Michael. Charlie Widener with damage. Well, whoever that was that just flew onto the exit of pit road will be getting a penalty as well. Really, Michael Whitlock and Justin Michael getting the worst of that. But multiple other drivers will have damage here as well.
That's an unfortunate one there for sure.
Well, Justin Michael can't be feeling too good as of now. But everybody going to be feeling a lot better because if there was any uncertainty about fuel, everybody other than Mark Jackson and Connell Bolton have just come down pit road to put the finishing touches on the fuel conundrum.
Yeah, and this one will definitely go to the end on fuel.
There's Scott Patton going around the pace truck, and I think he'll be back on the lead lap. That'll give us 22 drivers who are on the lead lap. And Patton has been, up to this point, a non-factor this evening, which is unusual for him at the super speedways, so he'll be very happy. Whatever happened to him in the first stage that put him a lap down, Still not quite sure, but he'll be back in it.
As a driver, I'm sure that's one of the best feelings, getting that last lap back and finally being on the lead lap and able to compete again.
There's more words of encouragement from Robin. How would you feel if you were out on track right now? Would you, not even dependent on where you were at, just knowing how this race has gone, I don't know, maybe concerned about blowing your motor, I guess? That's seemingly pretty random.
Yeah, seems to be an issue tonight. Two is more than expected, that's for sure. But when you're following so close to the truck in front of you and pushing, they heat up very quickly, and sometimes when you're just going for it, it slips your mind, or you just don't have the opportunity to get it cooled back off. And curious to see if we will have another.
A lot of drivers trapped a lap down. You see Mark Jackson and Connell Bolton who have stayed out. Jackson employing the strategy of fuel saving to be down on the flat under the pace laps. That's not a promising sign. But I would say he very much is valuing track position over fuel in the tank at this point.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where if you're low on fuel, you might be able to save enough by being pushed. And if that's the case, then we might see this outside line actually form up and make a run this restart.
Restarting with 15 laps to go. 22 drivers on the lead lap. Jackson and Bolton on row 1, Floyd and Neese on row 2. That is Hamby and Lehman on row 3, Pansilla and Bumgardner on row 4, Drum and Kirk, your top 10. Widener, Brandon Groover, Jacob Gibson, Bill Paradise, Matt Sisseler, the top 15. Michael Van, Riley Tilton, Brad Slagle, Ron Mitten, Heath Smith, Christopher Howell, and Scott Patton. About a 50-50 mix of our new drivers and our race winners. Potentially the run to the checkers here, although given what we've seen already, may not be.
Cautions do breed cautions.
They seem to do that, as that is nearly trouble right there, right off the rip between Neese and Bolton. Bolton able to hang on to it. Now we'll have a tailgate full of Dakota Floyd. And oddly enough, they'll have the run as Jackson clips the apron in 1 and 2.
Neese looking a little shaky here.
Hearts got to be pumping for these guys.
Bolton's going to take it to the bottom.
Bolton drops down low. Floyd now the leader of the top side with help from the vet, Johnny Hamby. Pansilla not staying tight to the 70s, starting to look around a bit. Maybe wants to go up to this third line.
I think we might see this third line form up pretty quick here. I mean, we're only a couple laps from 10 to go.
Jackson with the fuel concerns. Maybe wanting to be in second right now, though Connell Bolton also stayed out under this last caution. AC Jackson now going up to the top side, if only to get some air to the front of that truck. But he will lead the outside as Bolton looking awfully shaky off the front bumper of Neese. Jackson with a couple of starts in Max V last season, not more than a couple though. And the three drivers around him all making their Max V post-revival debuts tonight. Hamby and Lehman, 2 playoff drivers. They're in 5th and 6th. Showing a pit stop for Scott Patton. And that is going to put him back a lap down. So now down to 21 drivers on the lead lap. Back to Heath Smith. $12 to go. A host of upset drivers at the front of this field looking for the dub.
I'd like to point out that Billy Bumgardner was dead stopped on this track at one point with damage, and he's now looking inside the top 5.
Not only that, I think was involved in the next caution after that, too. And you are absolutely right. He's right here challenging for 6th. How about it? I mean, he's got a fast truck by the looks of it there. As
3
now,
wide out front.
Bolton going to get put in the middle, 3 wide. Neeson Jackson to hang out the Home Depot, number 32. And now here's the move for Dakota Floyd to get underneath Jackson. Floyd getting tucked up there with the 12 of Neeson, and that's Johnny Hamby into the wall. And there they go behind him. Sisler, Slagle. Oh, Charlie Widener gets hit hard by Rod Mitten, and Widener then hit with his teammate, Johnny Hamby. And that is a lot of heavy hitters who just got heavily hit. Gary Cleaver trying to escape the scene of the accident. Youch. Well, we know where that one started. There's no doubt about it. We caught it in progress here. Let's back it up. The move here from Floyd to drop down to the bottom to try and get around Mark Jackson. But Bolton already shuffled to the middle, 3 wide. Neese trying to follow the 57 up the track. Gets the 32 upset, and then it's just ping-pong from there. That was down into Jacob Gibson. Paradise gets a piece of it. Slagle, Sisler, Charlie Widener, Rod Mitten with damage. Youch.
That's a really tough place to be for Bolton.
That's the 14 of Trent Drum. Riley Tilton all the way down to the inside wall down the backstretch to miss that one. And you can see Widener, the toe is out on that one, and the truck is all damaged at the front of this hood and the front clip in its entirety. Ooh, caution number 5. Outside of the stage caution, which does count in there. These other 4, well, one of them was a single truck spin during the green flag pit cycle, but these other 3 have all been fairly large and have really shaken this field up.
Yeah, we've definitely lost quite a few trucks to these cautions. Looks like we've lost Milfelt. Greg Mall is still on track, but 9 laps down. Justin Michael is 8 down. So some names that you wanted to see up front are out of this race.
Wally Turnheimer stuck 2 laps down. Scott Patton trapped a lap down. So I think we're down to 18 on the lead lap. as it's Dakota Floyd right now in control of this field with less than 10 laps to go. He and Jordan Neese have been putting on a show at the front of this field. Two of multiple drivers, I believe 10 was the number, who are making their first career start with Max Field. Bobby Sales didn't actually take the green flag, so I think we ended up with 9. But Floyd, Neese, Bolton, and Billy Bumgardner as well, to a degree, have not strayed very far from the front of the field here tonight. Ironically enough, it wasn't until after his accident that Billy Bumgardner found his way to the front of the field at all tonight. But since then, he hasn't really left the top 10. It's funny how that happens sometimes. I wish it would happen to me from time to time, but, I'm happy for Billy.
That'd be too easy.
There is Matt Sisler in the chat. Yeah, involved in 2 of the big ones tonight. That one was definitely the worst of the 2 for sure. That is not a fun way to start the season, no doubt. But looking forward to seeing this 93 back towards the front of the field all season long. But if you're just joining us, if you're not one of the drivers that just got wrecked out in that big one, working our 5th caution, restarting with 7 laps to go, healthy crop of newcomers towards the front of this field. But of course, there are the vets as well. James Lehman, a race winner, and also the league operator, will be trying to restart in 3rd and get himself a 2nd victory in the series that he operates. Will Kirk has come oh so close, oh so many times, with thousandths of a second away from victory at Charlotte last season before it was snatched away from him at the line by Justin Michael. He is inside the top 10 with a shot. Brandon Groover is inside with a shout here as well. So is the People's Champ, Bill Paradise in 10th. Christopher Howell, Heath Smith lurking back here just outside of the top 10 as well. But it is Dakota Floyd who will elect the outside here for this restart with 7 laps to go.
We have a pretty even mix now, it seems, of drivers who have stayed out and who have been down for fuel since that fuel window closed. Pretty even getaway between Neese and Floyd.
They're both getting big shoves here. That's Jackson pushing to 12. Lehman pushing to 57 up top. Bumgardner now coming to help up top. Will Kirk into the mix in the 9 truck. .57 is moving backwards. Jackson moves up, leaves Neese out, and Neese couldn't quite get the block off in time, so now it's Mark Jackson leading the way on the top side. Connell Bolton now pushing the 12. All new players at the front of this field.
And James Lehman.
Just a reminder, with 5 to go, we're racing tomorrow night. Jumpy Trucks at the Charlotte Rallycross Course Special Stage Pro Truck Series. 9 o'clock Eastern. Hope to see you there. Oh, Pansilla up the track, nearly turning the 50 of Lehman.
Lehman going to go to the outside.
James is going for it. Billy Bumgardner trying to get something going here on this top side, but will bail out. And Lehman will get back in line.
I think we're definitely going to see this third line come into play.
Floyd and Jackson getting it in motion once again. As Bolton right up onto the door of the 17 to side draft and try and pull that top line back. Lehman
Goes to the outside again.
By hook or by crook, he's going to get this top side going. Now he's got help. As the Gorilla Glue 57 of Floyd is up top now in front of the 50. And that brings that middle line right back. Whoa, big moves there, and around goes Lehman.
Upside down.
Lehman tumbling down the front stretch, and Wally
Another one
Terheimer.
rolling.
2 flips in 1. Terheimer a lap down. And Lehman able to drive away after a full 360. But that's caution number 6. And that should send us to overtime.
That was a wild one.
Yes, it was. And I think the flip is already over by that point. Let's back it up. Squeeze there. Not a great look at it. Let's back it up again and try once more. Looking from high up top. Yeah, they crunched there. Bumgardner gets sent up into the 50. Lehman up onto the side, and the flip is not going to stop. Pensola gets turned. That was Christopher Howell that got turned. Lehman going to get back on all 4 wheels. Bumgardner and Rod Mitten, who's going to get forced down pit road. I think he's going to clear the cone. That would have been the second year in a row. As ahead of them, that's Wally Terheimer, who got up on his side as well. Oi, oi, oi.
Not a good night for the pole sitter of Terheimer.
No, definitely not. Let's, I'm at the wrong caution here. I went back too far. Got to get a little bit more proficient in racking up these replays. Apologies. Goodness gracious, there's so much to sift through. If it didn't log every single pass, we might be able to do this a little bit better. Let's see what Kerry Cleaver saw. See Lehman flipping there. Boy, he shot that gap at nearly full speed and gets to see Wally Terheimer flipping in front of him as well. And Kerry Cleaver of CNC Home Designs makes it through that one by the skin of his teeth ×2. After all that, James Lehman is going to be back out onto the track and still in the lead lap. V drivers still on pit road: Charlie Widener, Heath Smith, Brad Slagle, Jacob Gibson, Billy Bumgardner. Presumably all getting damage fixed. I think they're all on the lead lap. Wally Terheimer, who was also nearly upside down there, is also still out on the track. Terheimer 2 down in 19th. So it is Jordan Neese in control of the field now. Connell Bolton, Will Kirk in third. And all of Wilkirk Nation rises to his feet as maybe tonight will be the night for this 9 truck to finally pull in victory lane. What's funny enough is I did one official race by accident with Will Kirk. It was at Atlanta, the new Atlanta, and Kirk won that race. And I said, well, why can't you do that when I'm broadcasting? Why do you have to beat me when I'm racing against you? I'd much rather see you win when I'm not racing against you. Maybe tonight will be the night. But these two up front, they have been the ones who have wanted to be in control of this race all night. They've been making the moves, the crazy blocks, all the very tight side drafts. It's been these two who have dictated this race here tonight. Bolton v. Nice. And usually when you get down to a slugfest like this between two drivers at the super speedways, it usually does not end well for either of them.
At least end up upside down or sideways.
Just how many other people are you going to take down with you? Or will one of the two of them prevail, or will they keep it clean here for the final potential 5 miles of this one?
I think all of the above are very valid possibilities.
This is overtime. Top 18 still on the lead lap. Two to go. Bolton up to try and block the advance of Mark Jackson. Jackson's still able to get through. Now Nice will get down in front on the bottom. Leave Mark Jackson all by himself. Here's Riley Tilton into the mix. Tilton gets covered off here by Floyd. Can we make it back to the stripe? Big runs coming from behind as this pack starts to consolidate once again. White flag, race is official. Mark Jackson leads it at the line.
Here comes Lehman and Mitten into the mix.
Big head of steam from further back. Brandon
Grover in the
Groover
wall.
up into the wall. Jackson ahead down the backstretch, not quite clear of Nice down low. Nice now with a push from behind from Bolton. 3 wide. Everybody wants a piece of the action here at the front. It's Max V at Daytona. Jackson down into Nice. Nice going to try and save it. Drag race to the line. Billy Bumgardner. Connell Bolton. Bumgardner takes it. Billy Bumgardner at the stripe over Connell Bolton. And an absolute melee behind him. Brandon Groover will round out the podium. But after the night that Billy Bumgardner had, he is going to take the season opener here at Daytona. Just like last year, everybody got a piece of that on the final lap, and it was just going to be a question of who could get through it. As somebody just blew up. Unofficial top 10, Bumgardner, Bolton, Groover, Jackson, Nice, your top 5. Widener, Lehman, Smith, Kirk, and Slagle, the top 10.
That finish was something else.
Yes, it was. And we'll take a look at it in full here in just a second. But we're going to let Billy Bumgardner have at it.
Burn them down.
Absolutely. Oh, that can't be it. Come on. It's your first win and your first start here with the Max V. You got to have a little bit more in the tank. Well, regardless, yep, that is going to be it. Wow. Okay. We're going to have to go and take a look at how this all got started because that was a mess. There you see it already in progress. That's Gary Cleaver upside down. Goodness gracious. Okay. Try and find Jordan Neese here at the front of this field. As up at the top, that is Jackson getting turned down the track. Looked like by Riley Tilton. Then Connell Bolton getting run into from behind. Rod Mitten then turning the next guy, and Tilton getting turned. And it's just a pileup from there. Goodness gracious. Up into the catch fence and pirouetting off the nose. And Neese almost had that saved. But then from there, it's the drag race. They're both down below the aprons, so I don't think you can call that on either one of them for being an illegal move. Connell Bolton, side by side, door to door, nose to nose. And Bumgarner there, lucky he didn't lose all of his momentum, making that transition super late. Connell Bolton makes the late charge, but it's Billy Bumgarner at the stripe. And not by much. Not by much at all. Yeah, we don't have a camera right at the line, so we can't quite show you exactly how close it was. Rest assured, it was pretty damn close. So that is a look at kind of what happened there on the final lap. That was a wild conclusion to this one. Let's go ahead and give you the full finishing rundown after 82 laps here at Daytona. We'll hopefully talk to all of your podium finishers here in just a second. Billy Bumgarner with the win. Connell Bolton in second, and Brandon Groover in third. Mark Jackson, Jordan Neese, your top five. Charlie Widener, James Lehman, Heath Smith, Will Kirk, and Brad Slagle, the top 10. 11th for the People's Champ, Bill Paradise. 12th for Dakota Floyd, Ron Mitten. And 13th, Jacob Gibson. And 14th, Scott Patton. Around on the top 15, Riley Tilton, Kerry Cleaver, Christopher Howell, your lead lap finishers. And then from there, 19th on down, Wally Turheimer, Kyle Kabash in 20th. John Pantilla at 21st, Chris Surgeon 22nd, your reigning series champion at the start to the season he was looking for. Greg Mull in 23rd. Cody Gibson, Matt Sisler, your top 25. Trent Drum, Johnny Hamby, Michael Van, Michael Whitlock, Justin Michael. Lots of Michaels there in a row. Michael Milfelt, how about that? Chris Voiles, Ryan McRoberts, Zachary Groover, and Matt Rodolasso, the 35 drivers that started tonight's race. So we will go in search now of your podium finishers. As let's start with driver 41 here. Mr. Brandon Groover is up in booth 200 after a wild night through and through. 41 P3. Got to be feeling okay with that result, given everything that happened around you there at the end of this one.
Yeah, man, that was a pretty wild ride there at the end. Couple times, actually. Just yanked it left, trying to stay away from everybody. So had a decent run for most of the night. So all things considered, I appreciated the luck there at the end.
You were trying to make stuff happen there on that those final couple of laps. Got yourself up into the wall there late on that restart. Did you think your chances at a good finish there were over after that?
Yeah, absolutely. I tried to, I was hoping James and forget who was with him was going to kind of follow for the high line there, but that didn't happen, and I ran out of talent at the same time. So definitely thought I was going to lose quite a bit there for sure.
Joshua, what you got?
Man, a super speedway race. At what point does strategy go out the window and you just have to rely on your instinct on where to go when something like that on the last lap is happening in front of you?
Yeah, definitely, man. We were chatting about fuel strategies for most of the night, playing it a little bit by ear, but there at the end, had plenty of fuel. I went pretty heavy on fuel in case we had too many green white checkers. So at least at the end, the fuel wasn't a factor. So I was able to just focus on the wheel and try to make something happen best I could.
Well, I'll let you get your congratulations and shout-outs here in just a second, but I do want to tell you something, and I didn't tell this to anybody before we went on air. We just had a driver drop out of the Truck 200 chase. James Lehman has also said that he will not be here to contend for the championship. So the next driver up in points is you. So you are in the Truck 200 chase. If you are planning on running those final 5 races, the 8th seed is yours if you'd like it.
Yeah, that's great news, man. I was pretty bummed that I missed it there at the end. So I was trying to get in there. It stinks that somebody wasn't able to make it, but absolutely looking forward to that for sure.
Well, you've been incredibly consistent on Monday nights in a very tough field. I mean, it's our highest strength of field races, bar none, on Monday nights. And you've put together quite a season. So very excited to see what you got here for the championship and the only chase that we'll ever run here for Truck 200. But you had great stuff here tonight, and you're off to a fantastic start here for Max V Season 1 of 2025. Congratulations. Let's get some shout-outs for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to say thanks to you guys, first and foremost, for doing what you guys do here on the broadcast, both with the Truck 200 stuff and the Max V stuff. You guys do a great job. Of course, big shout out to all the Max V guys, James and Scott and Justin, all those guys that make that stuff happen, and then all the guys down there in Two Brothers Racing, Brad and my brother, of course, who didn't have a great night tonight, but appreciate all those guys down there. So, yeah, big shout out to all you guys.
All righty, partner. Thanks for the time here tonight. Congrats on the podium to start, and we'll hopefully talk to you again on Monday.
Appreciate it, man. You guys have a good night.
All right, 2 first-timers in Booth 200. We'll start with the runner-up finisher here tonight. That is Connell Bolton in the 32. The man who was making all the moves at the front of this field here tonight. Strong performance here tonight. I'm sure you wanted to go one better at the end, but a pretty good night here at Daytona, all things considered.
Yeah, man, that was awesome. Didn't really qualify where we wanted to, but I mean, in the end, we had a really fast truck. Was able to bring it to P2 at the end there. I'm just saving fuel, honestly, most of the race, but it was a wild finish at the end.
Well, it seemed like once you made your way up to the front of the field, you didn't hardly ever leave it. You had that hiccup there on coming down pit road, but after that, caution came out at the end of that green flag pit cycle. Man, you were up in contention, up in the mix all night long, making some crazy moves to try and advance your position or keep the position that you had at the front of the field. I mean, getting your elbows out here early with a new group of guys has got to be a little bit uncomfortable, but you seem to do it pretty well.
Yeah, man. I mean, try to make friends. Try to hopefully not lose too many friends here with that finish. But yeah, I don't know. It was pretty good. Did have to be pretty aggressive though. I mean, it is Daytona, track position, pretty important. So, end of the day, I don't know, managed to get a P2. It's pretty good.
Joshua, what you got?
Man, as you are running through this field and coming to the front pretty quick, last year's Daytona, it went caution free till the end, whereas this year you had several cautions throughout the race. Do you like seeing those cautions come out, or is that a shakeup in your strategy?
Well, I mean, my strategy at the beginning was kind of banking on there being green flag the whole time. And then closer to the end, when I stayed out probably, 3 times in a row, I think it was. And then I was just banking on there being cautions after cautions, and there were cautions after cautions, and that's pretty much the only reason why I had enough fuel to make it to the end there.
Well, we know it's a long season here, about 20 weeks long. But what are your plans for the season? You planning on going full time, especially with such a strong opener to the season tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking definitely racing Atlanta. See how that goes. It is a super speedway, so if I get bad finish there, it's not the end of the world. But then maybe run a few mile and a halves, see how that goes. Definitely run the first few races, and I'll probably stick around. It's fun racing.
Well, that sounds good, partner. Great job here tonight. Before we let you go, let's get some shout-outs for you.
Oh, shout out to the Dusty Paint booth. He did not make this scheme tonight. I should have ran a Dusty Paint booth scheme, but I don't know. Here's what it is. Maybe next week.
All righty, partner. Looking forward to it. Great job here tonight, and we'll hopefully talk to you again next week in Atlanta.
All right, Am. Thank you.
Now the man of the hour, Billy Bumgardner, is up in booth 200, and he's up here as a race winner as we see the 17 of Mark Jackson go upside down here on the replay. What a finish to this one. What a night you had overall, but got to feel pretty sweet to get the dub here tonight.
Yeah, I was just, I guess, just lucky. That's all I can really say. Restarted, I think, 14th. I was just basically going to try to get in the top 10. And they, all started crashing there at the end, and it just, everything parted for me, more or less.
I mean, sometimes getting lucky here at Daytona, I feel like most people would say it doesn't happen very often. But the sun shines on everybody every now and again. But, I mean, at one point, you were up. That truck looked pretty darn beat up after it found its way to the outside wall. And it wasn't but another caution or two after that you were in the top 10, and you didn't leave the top 10 again after that. So, I mean, your race went from being in trouble to you digging yourself out of that hole really, really quick.
Yeah, I had like I think a minute and 18 damage on one of those wrecks, and then a minute and 12 on the next one. And luckily got them all, fixed up where it would go good in the draft, but I couldn't really pass. As long as I was behind somebody, I was good.
Joshua, what you got for a race winner?
Taking a win on the opening race, I mean, it's got to feel good, but how does that set you up to bounce into the rest of the season, especially as we move to Atlanta, which is another super speedway of sorts?
Well, hopefully the luck will follow me to that track too. But yeah, it feels good, real good.
Well, to come into this league right away, make your mark, give yourself a checkered flag to put up onto your truck, man. You are off and running here. What are the expectations for the rest of the season now that you get the win out of the way early?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm still trying to take this win in. I guess maybe try to keep finishing top 10s to the end, maybe.
I mean, that's a pretty solid plan. And, yeah, you're off to a great start here. Fantastic stuff here tonight. Congratulations. Before we let you go, we'll let you get some shout-outs in.
Tim, I just want to thank the league here for putting this on, and you guys up there announcing and stuff. And seems like it's going to be a pretty good league.
Well, I would imagine if it's not a good league, you're at least going to enjoy it here tonight. So go celebrate, go party hard. Congrats on the win. You're 1 for 1. Well, hopefully talk to you again next week in Atlanta.
Yeah, 10-4. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Billy Bumgardner going to add himself to the list of names that have won a race here on Turn 200 and add himself to, honestly, a pretty short list of winners in Max V overall. Trying to do the math here really quick. I think there's about 15 guys that have won a Max V race before, and he's on that list, and it's a who's who of pretty damn good drivers as well. So congrats to Billy Bumgardner on a fantastic drive and a great recovery, like he said. That's no easy feat, even with a couple of cautions here at Daytona. To get 3 minutes of damage fixed, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. super speedways, anything can happen. And really, taking the hits that he did, it can very quickly, put you down and make you not want to continue. But, his win is just proof that you just got to get as much damage repaired as you can and get back out there, and it might go your way.
Well, it's your first official league night up in the booth here tonight. You're going to be covering Max V for pretty much the rest of this season. What did you make of your first night with Max V?
It was fantastic. I did my research a little bit, watching through last year's races, and it's a stout league. It's stacked with some pretty phenomenal drivers, honestly. And to be a part of that from this perspective is truly something different, and I really think I'm going to enjoy it just as much, if not more, than being out there on the track.
Was there anything else you want to say before we close up shop here tonight?
Congrats to Billy Bumgardner on the win. It definitely is a good way to start out the season. And thank you for having me on for Max V.
Absolutely, partner. You're stuck with me for 19 more weeks, so we'll lucky you.
Lord help me.
But fantastic job here tonight, and welcome aboard. And looking forward to many, many more finishes like this, because this is a classic one to kick it off, and classic Max V Thursday night racing as well. Looking forward to many more weeks of this, and again, 2 seasons here in 2025, 2 20-weekers as well, with a postseason format. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out in the chat with us here tonight. Bailey Marie Motichek was here. Michelle Kirk, Sarah Chirinon, Riley Tilton, Big W Racing, Robin Motichek, Jefferson86, Matt Burkhart, Mark Motichek as well, Greg Mall, and Matt Sisseler. Thanks for everybody for stopping by. And even if you weren't in the chat, we appreciate you hanging out with us here tonight. Plenty more opportunities to catch some racing here on Turn 200 in the coming week. Tomorrow night, it is the return after the Valentine's Day off week of the Special Stage Pro Truck Series. It is the heat racing format at the Charlotte Rallycross course tomorrow night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Excited to get some jumpy trucks back underway. Monday night, it is Truck 200, the postseason opener from Indianapolis Motor Speedway at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, or short track racing with the Venom Truck Series at Iowa on John Kay's birthday. Catch us at 8:15 for that one. And that will lead us into next Thursday night, same time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, but we'll be just a little bit north of the Daytona International, up at Atlanta Motor Speedway, the new version. Super Speedway racing 2 weeks in a row, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for round number 2 on the season. That's all we got for you here tonight. Thank you to everybody with the Maximum Velocity Racing League. Thank you to Carrie Cleaver and CNC Home Designs. If you need a home designed in Central Florida, be sure to call up Carrie Cleaver and Deb. They will get you set up, whether it is a quaint farmhouse or the modern home of your dreams. They will get it done. Appreciate their continued support of the Maximum Velocity Racing League and Thursday Night Trucking here on Max V and on Turn 200. Thank you to my partner, Mr. Joshua Motichek, as well. Shout out to Mr. Matt Williamson. But until we meet again here from Daytona, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long. And congratulations to Billy Bumgardner on the surprise win here at Daytona for the season opener. Have a good night, everybody.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.